welcome to another episode of I Demand a Homestead. My name is Amanda, and today we're going to be talking about trying to make more use of your available space by doing vertical kind of gardening, right? Where you're going to be growing up instead of requiring more square footage of space. So for that, we're going to be making trellises. Now, a lot of people have been making trellises like bean tunnels and things like that using cattle panels, which are great. They're a very heavy wire, galvanized wire. They won't rust. They're really solid. However, they are also really expensive. You have another option if you want to make kind of like a tunnel, which is what I want to make, is getting what's called concrete rebar, concrete mesh, sorry, which is also kind of a heavy gauge wire and can be used to make tunnels. However, that stuff will rust. So we are going to try something different. Let me show you. All right, so what I have purchased, it is a welded metal fence. This is a 12.5 gauge, which is a heavy duty gauge, which is what you want, okay? You don't want anything that's going to be too light. All right, so what you're going to need to do this is obviously these rolls of metal fence, okay? And then you can kind of calculate how much you're going to need. I've also got T-posts, which is going to be what we kind of drive into the ground to kind of give some anchor support for those trellises. So the other supplies that you're going to need some wire cutters, obviously. You're going to need a tape measure. And you're going to need some zip ties because that's what we're going to use to attach the metal fencing to the T-post. Oh yeah, and the other thing you're going to need is something to drive in the T-post. Probably a sledgehammer would work really, really well. Last bit of supplies that you're going to need is some 3/4 inch PVC pipe and a little handsaw to cut it. Okay, so what we're going to start with to show you is one of the kind of just regular flat trellises, just because that's easier to set up. So we're going to do that in this row right here. So the first thing we're going to start with is we're going to start putting in our T-posts that are going to... Okay, so we are now going to hopefully easily hammer this into the ground, even though there's lots of rocks in our area.
This kind of feels like a video that's going to go wrong here. Okay. She's stuck in.
Okay, let's do the next one.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
All right, last one. So the posts are now dug in. So now we need to cut our roll of fencing. We've measured our row at 14.5 feet. So that's how long a fence we're going to cut, Dave.
Okay, Commando.
Okay, do you want to drag the roll? And then we're going to cut our piece. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to unroll this fence and we're going to zip tie it to these posts. I should probably get the zip ties.
That'd be good.
Dave is bending the end of it around that one, just so that we're less likely to kind of catch ourselves. So that's the easy trellis built. All right, so if you want to kind of start with a trellis, this is going to be perfect for, you could use it for climbing beans, you could use it for trellising tomatoes. We're going to build the tunnels as well for the beans and also for our squash. Okay, so now that we've finished the just straight across one, we're now going to start the tunnel one, which is going to go over 2 of these 30-inch beds with a kind of walkway in between underneath. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to hammer in 3 of these big posts at 6-foot long intervals, because that's how tall the fencing is, and then we'll cut the right length of fencing. All right, shall we start there, Dave?
Yes, Amanda.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so now all the posts are in, and what we're going to do is we're going to go and cut more of our fencing. This time we're going to cut 18-foot lengths because I want to have at least kind of a 6-foot tall tunnel. All right, so we will go cut those and then we'll come back and show you how we make the tunnel. Okay, so this is the fun part. This is where we get to drape this up and over and then zip tie it to these posts. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to arch it up and over the other side and zip tie it to that side. Okay, so this is the wire fence part of this part. Now we're going to go and cut another 18-foot length to do the second half of the trellis. So we'll be back and we'll show you once all that part is done. So now the last thing to do, since we've got our trellis up, is just to reinforce it. Because it's a thinner gauge than the cattle panels, it's not gonna hold up under really heavy vegetables like squash. So I'm gonna reinforce it with some PVC pipe. These posts have little kind of lips on them that I can kind of hook my PVC pipe onto. You could drill a hole and screw this in to one of the holes as well. And then I just zip tie it in, and then I'm going to kind of go up and around, putting that underneath and zip tying it in place. Okay, and then once I get to the other end, I'm just going to figure out where I need it to hook on, or where you're going to drill your hole to, and then you can, as I'm holding this in place, I'm just going to saw it with this handsaw. And then I hook it onto that little hook here. And there we have it. There's one rung, one rib, I guess, if you will. Okay. And then we're going to do the other 2 ribs where there are posts. Okay. And so there is our finished trellis, hoop trellis, kind of ribs there, which I could also reinforce with some horizontal bars if I needed to. So I'll wait and see kind of how it goes. There is our more simple one, which is just the straight trellis, and that's going to be for my tomatoes. And over here is another hoop one, which I haven't finished yet, and then down there is another hoop one as well. So thank you for joining me on another episode of I Demand a Homestead. If you like this video, please feel free to press the subscribe button and also the notification bell so that way you don't miss any more of my videos. All right, everyone, we'll keep you informed with how well this is going to be for us for growing, and we'll hopefully see you again soon. All right, bye-bye.